Our chances for survival are not looking good. People are becoming more worried every day that the climate is changing, and something radical needs to be done. One way to see this is to calculate our odds mathematically. While no one can say for sure, one way to begin comes from the discipline of anthropology. When we study how species evolve, a couple very daunting statistics emerge. First, 99% of all species which have ever existed on Earth are extinct today. Second, of the species which are successful today, every one has needed 100 million years, minimum, to become adapted to Earth's conditions. Humans have been around, as a species, just 200,000 years. That's a 500 to 1 disadvantage. For the human to catch up, we would need millions of years. Trouble is, regarding the climate, we only have 100 years at the most. Maybe only 25 years until the climate hits 2.0 degrees Celsius. And maybe only 10 years before we cross over that precious 1.5 degrees mark set in the Paris climate meeting of 2016. But it gets worse. We not only have to make up all those millions of years in just a few decades, we have to do this together, in the collective. As a global community. In order to gain access to the power to offset these survival odds, we need synergy. We need to collaborate. We need global patriotism. We need a shift in identity, relationships and culture. We need creative radical change. Immediately. Fortunately, some very forward thinkers have found a solution. It is shown in the axis shift diagram of Loveshift. And in the demonstration known as BigC. Keep watching. 2 videos, showing the power of these new resources, follow this one, right now.
The axis shift diagram of Loveshift. www.loveshiftblog.com. This video is made to answer a single question. What must we do in order to survive? The proposition of the video is that, in the absence of a shift in consciousness, we will not be able to move forward as a humanity. Where have we come from? Where are we going? And what must we do to have meaningful survival? These questions have challenged humans for many generations. One thing is now apparent. The existing paradigm is not working anymore. What does this mean? One way to answer this question is to observe how consciousness changes over time. To do this, we need to use a thing called a functional diagram. Functional diagrams show how one thing changes as a function of something else. The thing that changes first is called the independent variable, and is graphed on the horizontal or x-axis. The thing that changes second, as a function of the first thing, is called the dependent variable, and is usually graphed on the vertical y-axis. Eat more cheeseburgers, x-axis, and you will gain weight, y-axis. Spend money you don't have, x-axis, and your credit score will suffer, y-axis. The point is that the value of y depends on the amount of x. Okay, back to time and consciousness. Let's look at the Loveshift diagram, and see how it might contribute to our understanding of what we need to do to have meaningful survival. Looking at the axis shift diagram, and the image on the left of these 3 panels, one can see that, as we have evolved over the years, time has been the independent variable, on the horizontal, or x-axis, and consciousness, c, on the vertical or y-axis, has been dependent upon it. What that means is that, for millennia, as time chugged along, consciousness went up. This has worked for thousands of years. Unfortunately, it won't work anymore. Why? Look again at the diagram. See that red line, in the left panel, called the asymptote? That line is a mathematical limit to the function. Because the function is exponential, it cannot continue beyond it. We will not be able to succeed without a radical shift. In things like identity, relationship and culture. Our old way of thinking is over. Obsolete. Done. Finished. Forever. So what are we to do? Shift the axes. And make consciousness the independent variable, with the future dependent on it. If this is done collectively, we can create a new function, which will evolve and serve us as we move into the future. It has been shown that, when individuals claim that their consciousness is now first cause, and their consciousness is collectivized, great amounts of energy are released for action. Visit www.loveshiftblog.com to learn more. Loveshift. Working together, we can make a difference. P.S. Let's look back at the Loveshift diagram again. See that green line? That's our consciousness, deciding to make the shift. Will we decide? Will we all decide together? Consciously? Collectively? If we do, we could form a global community with a culture that works for the benefit of all life. Please note, there are profound implications of making the love shift. Some examples are radical new levels of individual responsibility, radical new levels of social responsibility, global patriotism, expanded and extended levels of concern, seeing with new eyes, understanding that all war is obsolete, long-term thinking at every level, becoming as wise and loving as the system that produced us, a new understanding of the dynamics of climate change, new appreciation for the value of community, new definitions of words like family, sacred and subject, new practical forms of love, for Earth, ourselves and each other. The emergence of relationship as the most reliable resource for security in the world today. The emergence of collective mysticism, distributed functionality and the human array. A new orientation of humanity for the benefit of all life. A new understanding of our place in the universe, as the living context for everything we think, say and do. A collective alignment with the truth that all is one. A practical awareness that everything is in relationship with everything else, all the time, everywhere. And many others. Is shifting the axes, making consciousness the independent variable, going to be easy? Probably not. Is it essential? Absolutely. Is it good? Yes. And, because the changes implied by the shift are in alignment with the deep design and principles of the cosmos, they will help us move, successfully, individually and collectively, into a better, safer, more meaningful future. Want to learn more? Visit Loveshift, www.loveshiftblog.com.
Hello, John Birch for Loveshift, and today I'd like to make a quick video to show you the power of collective consciousness. Now, what I have here is a spreadsheet, and we call this also the power of Big C. And Big C is used to stand for collective consciousness. So in our formula, we're going to show you that the smaller c refers to individual consciousness, and the larger c, the exponent, refers to collective consciousness. So let me walk you through this, and the basis for this calculation is Albert Einstein's famous formula, E equals mc squared. And this is actually the formulation of the energy that we're going to be using to show the difference between associated consciousness and collectivized consciousness. So what we have down here in the middle is in the Neozoic era, when the consciousness has been grouped, when it's synergistic, when it's complex. You see the capital C is red right here. And down here in what we're going to call the Newtonian model, where the individual consciousnesses are personalized but they're not grouped, now we have the C red as a small c. So let me just start this model and show you what we've discovered, and I think you'll see why we're so excited. I'm going to now run the model up to 4 people. So there's 4 people in our study. Down here, we see that the number is 4, and we're going to see that it's 4 squared, 4 raised to the power of 2, and the value is 16. So in this situation, we're going to get the amount of energy equivalent to 16, whatever that is, 16 units of energy. Up here, we notice that it's actually the number 2 raised to the power of 4. Down here, it's 4 raised to the power of 2. Here it's 2 raised to the power of 4. So you see what we're trying to demonstrate here is that in this case, we're letting the collective consciousness be the variable. Where down here, it's the individual. Now we see that at 4 people in our group, there's the same amount of energy available. Let's take our group up to 5 people. Now, in the Newtonian model, where there isn't a complexification of the group, we have 25. Up here, 32. Let's run the model forward. We now have 10 people. 10 people in our group. Down here, 10 squared is 100. Up here, 2 raised to the power of 10 is 1,000. That's interesting. Watch these numbers again change. Excuse me. Here, this is the formula. Here is it changing. So watch the yellow as I move this from 0 to 10. You see how that's working? Okay. Now we're going to go past 10 to 20 people in our group. The associated 20 that are not working together, that are just additive, we wind up with a unit value of 400. Up here, where we are complexifying our consciousness, where we're sharing using Twitter and Facebook and smartphones and Gmail, whatever this is, all of this here is the collectivization of our consciousness, this new era. And we're very, very young in this. We're moving forward into this right now. It's a brand new phenomenon, how we're being able to associate our consciousness. But look what's happened. Up here, we're already up to 1 million. 400, 1 million. Only with 20 people in our group. Let's go up to 30. Okay, at 30 individuals, 900 versus 1 billion. Do you see why we're so excited? I would say myself that we're having a renaissance of consciousness and conscious energy as we become able more and more, almost daily, to collectivize our thought. We're no longer having individuals reading newspapers. We now have a viral world that's able to share thought almost instantaneously at the level of the group. This group was only 30 people. Let's keep going. Up we go. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, up to 100. Just 100 people who have figured out how to work together, how to share their thinking. Down here, 100 squared is 10,000. Up here, 2 raised to the power of 100 is an astronomically large amount of energy. And that's just 100. If you run this slider to 200, 300, 500, 1,000, this number becomes amazingly huge. I actually did this on a calculator that I found online in China, and I began to run this number up, 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 up. And when I got it above 1 million, the number became almost undecipherable. When I took it to 1 billion, which is 1 out of every 8 human beings approximately on Earth, the calculator returned the value of infinity. So we are on the threshold of an incredible moment here, and I'm suggesting that one of the things that we need to pay attention to is how much amazingly more we're able to do when we collectivize our thought. And this is a new area for the human, but it's just recent that we're able to actually share our thinking. I believe when Michael Jackson died, it was about 9 in the morning. By noon, I don't know a single person who didn't know that he had died. It happened that quickly. Things go viral. This is unexplored territory when it comes to making changes in the world. This is how we have been functioning for 2,000 years with newspapers and the way we speak one-to-one and then one-to-one and one-to-one. This is now collective. Once again, watch the formula change. Look at the difference. So if you find this interesting, please go to www.loveshift.com and explore, and then consider becoming involved in how we figure out how to apply this to the problems that we face on Earth, because we certainly have problems. We certainly need energy, and we're in this together. So that's the Big C demonstration. The collective consciousness is now, we think, the independent variable. And thank you for watching.